Thank you very much.
Any future projects between Manny, John?
Yeah, hopefully a lot of future projects.
Can Ron just speak about the music? Because it was fantastic. We love soft things, Anna. The music. Speak about the music. I mean, well, your the music. Like, tell me about it. Was the thing that for me carried it, on another level?
The music was all of the songs in it. Actually, some of the songs were performed by some of the actors in the movie, which is interesting. And it's all the best Dominican, bands. The score was done by Evan Wilson, which is, I think, amazing. He wrestled with this. He wrestled with it for 6 months, looking, so deep into the Dominican sounds and, what he could do. And I really think the score is just a masterpiece. It's like one of the best things in this thing. So, yeah, thanks.
First of all, I thought the movie was fantastic. My question is, how representative is the movie to what's actually happening in we are now in terms of that element that's being reported?
That what's happening in this movie, with the corruption of the government, the corruption of the police, the violence that doesn't just exist in society, but also just how, animals, people live, all these other things. That's how most of the world lives. I mean, we've shown this to, all different, nationalities, and I'd say most of them, throughout all of Latin America, through Africa, through a lot of Asia. Like, yeah, that's it. That's what happens to my country. So I think that, what we found is what we were trying to be true to was the Dominican Republic, very specifically, all the cultural details. But what we found is that the way that people live is actually probably the way most people in the world live. So we've been finding out that it's more universal than just that. But the flavor is Dominican, very, very authentic.
Hi, there's a speech that the General Hospital Luisito, the kid, that to me was, when I first read it, when I fell in love with the story, which I wanted to go back to something that you said, and how everyone came on board. Everyone came on board. This man, before I knew him, before I fell in love with what his work was about, I fell in love with this one. I knew his work, and when I read the piece, I opened the page, and the first thing I read was the monologue of the general to the child, and I started to cry because it's so important to what he answers the question of what you were saying. The ideal, the nationalistic, the heart of the piece is right in there. That then it becomes corrupted because of money. It becomes he speaks about something else. I also wanted to mention that there's a lady sitting up there that is our director of the piece. Hello, hello, yeah, hello, that lady over here.
That is Jamie Whitlock. She's, a critical part of our team. We had a core group. I think it's really important to acknowledge that in this movie, Manny is the solo. Manny wrote this out of his experiences, growing up in the island. It was very specific about things he had heard and things that he had seen, emotions he had about it. And when we all jumped on, that's what we followed. That was the guiding. But I think what's really important is that it was really one collective brain. I think it was a real, true collaboration. And Jamie Whitlock, who is an incredible production designer, just brought so many great ideas to it. And Zeus Milan, who's not here right now, is a cinematographer who I think is just, did the best work of his life. And obviously Manny. And it was just a great thing. But it wasn't just like the auteur theory where it was one guy dictating whatever. It was a real collective brain. It was a beautiful thing. you asking me?
All three of you.
Well, I mean, just very quickly, I think that in spite of the fact that this is a, you know, a very extreme world, very violent, I felt like the themes were universal. You know, the nostalgia for ourselves before the world corrupts us is something I think we all think about. You know, we all try to think back to who we are really, you know, before the world gets a hold of us. And I just think it's important to think outside of the kind of boring middle-class life, you know, we're living in America and maybe not so much in Canada. But I just think it's important to get out of the house and see, you know, and describe stories of other people. I mean, they're fascinating, and I think it's, you know.
Well, you know, when I wrote this, I wrote it because I seen half of these things happen to friends, and I saw it and heard, and so I was like, hey, I want to write a story, not because I'm mad at what's happening, but just because I want to show a story that is different, and also as a filmmaker, you know, with Josh and everyone else involved, we wanted to do something that means something to us, that actually represents something, that if tomorrow I pass away, I left this behind. So I feel like this is something that we've accomplished. So again, it's just a story, but the sad thing is that friends of mine did pass away or got killed, but you know, but it still is a story that I want to just say or put out there, but it's not because we're mad or anything like that. Hold on.
Well, the last scene when the two children are playing, and she goes, Visito is his wife, and it kind of sums the story up for me, which is, and this is something that I believe the salvation of our spirit is that we live in a place of love.
En la vida real aprendió a descolgar los cochinos.
¿Cómo la pregunta otra vez?
Luisito en la vida real aprendió a descolgar a los cochinos.
A desollar, a matar a Oye, yo vengo de un mundo... Okay, he just...
He wants to know if Luisito in real life learned how to lash and cut or kill the pig.
Well, I gotta say, I lived in DR till I was 11. My father killed pigs for us to eat. So my family, 11 of us, we all don't know how to kill a pig. So if you're asking Luisito, which I guess is played by me, do I know how to kill a pig? I killed a pig when I was like 8 years old. But in my life as an adult, let me give you one story. I came to the United States. We left when I was 11. I came to the United States, lived here for 15 years, and went back to visit. And we stayed at my cousin's house. And my uncle had a little piggy running around. I'm like, oh, it's a cute little piggy, like a little dog. And I'm like, oh, it's a cute pig. And I was there for 21 days. So I pet the pig, and it was cute, everything. My last day before I was leaving, at 6 in the morning, I hear a little baby screaming. I run outside, and I see my uncle stabbing that pig. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm making your going away feast. So imagine that. So that to me was a shock, and ever since then I've never eaten a pig or even pork. So or even bacon. So there you go.